Testament according to the Roman Catholic Church, but are excluded from the canon of the Bible according to historic Protestantism, namely the books of the Apocrypha. And even within the books of the Apocrypha, there are books that are more or less disputed in terms of their authenticity. And one of the most problematic of all of the books of the Apocrypha is the book of 2nd Esdras. There's a great debate about when it was actually written, but that's beside the point for now. And even though historic Protestantism does not embrace the canonical status of the books of the Apocrypha, nevertheless, historically, the Church has understood that as original sources of information, they carry great importance. Some have even accorded them what's called deuterocanonical status, secondary level. I, for one, do not believe that the books of the Apocrypha were inspired. They don't belong on the same level as sacred Scripture. But that doesn't mean that they're worthless. They have some very valuable information contained within them. And so I'm going to read a passage here from one of those books, from 2nd Esdras, and I hope you will be patient with me because the copy I'm reading from is from an Old English version, printed, you know, where F's become S's and all of that, and so I may stumble over it as I try to read it, but it's from the book of 2nd Esdras, from the 2nd chapter of 2nd Esdras, beginning at verse 42, where we read this: I, Esdras, saw upon Mount Zion a great people whom I could not number, and they all praised the Lord with songs. Now, I said bear with me because what it looks like here is they praised the Lord with thongs. So, help me. So they praised the Lord with songs, and in the middle of them there was a young man, higher in stature than them all, and upon every one of their heads he set crowns. And he was higher than the others, which I much marveled at. Now, do you see the scene? Esdras is having this scene of this man who is higher in stature than those that are surrounding him. And he is placing crowns upon these people's heads. It said, so I asked the angel and said, who are these, my Lord? Who answered and said to me, these be they that have put off the mortal clothing, and have put on the immortal, and have confessed the name of God, and now are they crowned and receive the palms. And then I said unto the angel, what young man is it that sets crowns upon them and gives them palms in their hands? And he answered and said to me, it is the Son of God, whom they have confessed in the world. And then began I greatly to commend them, that they had lived so strongly for the name of the Lord. Now again, this is not a biblical passage. But in this apocryphal vision of Esdras, he's saying that he saw a glimpse into heaven where he saw the Son of God. And in this setting, the people were not waving palms at him, but he is going to each of the martyrs, each person who has suffered in his behalf, and giving them a hosanna, a palm branch, and placing crowns on their heads. Now, this may not be biblical, but it is completely compatible with what the Scriptures say, that those who participate in the humiliation of Christ will participate in the exaltation of Christ. And this King who enters into Zion in triumph promises to share the inheritance of his kingdom with all of those who confess his name.